We have some new updates with the Jared Brightigan murder for hire case. He was a Microsoft executive that was gunned down in February of 2022. We'll just give you a quick little case refresher and then we'll dive into the updates. If you're new to the channel, my name is Annette Lyon. I am your host, USA Today best-selling author of the suspense novel Just One More and a whole bunch of other stuff. True crime junkie, chocoholic, all of that good stuff. Jared Brightigan was a Microsoft executive who was visiting with his twin children. He's had a very cantankerous divorce, and he is since remarried. He has two children with his new wife, one an infant, one a toddler. He has twins with his first wife. So on the weeks where his ex-wife has custody of the twins, then he takes them out for what they called date night. He drops them off as usual, and then he's got his little baby in the back in her car seat. Drives along as a one-way road, and now we have actually images of that road. There is a spare tire that's just shoved in the middle of the road. He can't get past. He gets out of the car to move the tire, and there was a gunman waiting in ambush in some bushes. You can see the bushes there as well. He's gunned down right in front of his child in the back. Very much a setup situation. Now you fast forward, the ex-wife, her name is Shannon Gardner. She is like the heiress to the Stampin' Up! Fortune, that whole scrapbooking MLM company. She had since remarried to Mario Saldana Fernandez. The right direction. So Shannon and Mario are at this point, they're married in the story. Today in 2026, they have since divorced, but the state is alleging that they hired the gunman, Henry Tenon, to off Jared. And again, this cantankerous divorce, it was very ugly and very nasty. Any communication they had was always in writing because there was no trust. And poor Kirsten, who is now the widow, her poor two children, now fatherless. And her stepchildren have been cut off from her as well. They are now currently in custody of Shanna's parents, who live on the West Coast, I believe in Oregon State or Washington State. There was a ugly battle there, but those poor kids lost their father and their stepmother and their mother because she's now in jail awaiting trial. It's been a mess on a whole bunch of fronts. I am going to very soon be going through a lot of the court documents of their divorce and all the nastiness with that, which should be interesting. Henry Tenon, the accused gunman, he was arrested. He confessed. He confessed, and that's awesome. So that's going to be great for the state, right? But then a year ago, January of 2025, in court, out of the blue, surprising his attorney, he says, actually what I said was false. And the judge was trying to protect the records, like, well, hold on, Mr. Tenon, speak with your counsel before you say anything else. So long story short, in July of 2025, he ended up getting new counsel, or at least the request for a new counsel. His previous public defender, his name was Alan Chipperfield, and he filed a certificate of conflict, and the reason he said was miscellaneous. Don't know for sure, but it seems likely that it's connected to his statement the previous January about I need a new lawyer and I made false statements. Now we're told that the Office of Regional Conflict Counsel is now representing him. Don't have a name. No doubt the defense will say clearly because Tenon lied about something at some point, whether it was then or now or whatever, you can't trust anything he says. Therefore, the entire state's case is going to crumble. But then the state's going to say we have plenty of evidence even without him. Apparently, Henry Tenon was connected to Shanna and Mario as a tenant. Sounds like his last name, but it's not. He was renting out a small house that they owned. And there were promises and money and whatever. Shanna is being represented by the same guy who got Casey Anthony off. So and her parents, again, are loaded. So, and there's actually, it's her father and stepmother. There was an affair there. Apparently, a mayor runs in the family. Most recently, a couple of developments. Prosecutors in December of 2025, so just a few weeks ago, as I'm recording this, they decided to no longer seek the death penalty for Shanna and Mario. Henry Tenon's confession, as far as his part, got him a second-degree charge. So that I don't believe we carried death penalty in Florida. So that was not relevant. C.K. Hoffler, who is former National Bar Association president, she's a lawyer who owns her own firm and in Atlanta, I believe. And she's been on court TV and whatnot. She speculates that The reason the prosecution decided to take the death penalty off the table was to spare his children. They've already lost their father to this horrific way, their stepmother, and their mother is in jail. At least let's not have their mother be on death row and go through the trauma of having her be killed as well. That's her theory, and it sounds plausible. Something else that was relatively new, just in November, I believe it was, again, a few weeks ago, body cam was released of when Henry Tenen was arrested. It is wild. I'll show a couple clips here. He's like the most friendly, like grandpa, just chill dude, and he's like, oh yeah, I was just taking some friends to a methadone clinic. Yeah, I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. He and this cop are just shooting the breeze while his partner is there searching the vehicle.
I like my crossbows better.
Crossbows? Yeah. You hunter?
Yep.
Where you hunt at?
Georgia, mostly.
Okay.
I tried a little bit around here, but everything I found, it's no good. I don't know. It's too much garbage, contaminated meat, or whatnot. So, rabbit.
I mean, what do you hunt for?
Deer, hog, rabbit.
Rabbit?
Yep.
With a crossbow?
Yeah.
Okay. You got some good aim if you can hit a rabbit with a crossbow.
And he does say, oh, by the way, there's a shotgun in my trunk. It's a really old gun, but it's just so you know it's there. Which is good that he informed the cops, because that's what you got to do.
What kind of shotgun is it? It says 12 gauge, brain? Well,
I want to say it's a Mossberg, but I ain't got it to where I can see the name on it yet.
Gotcha.
I'm just steady cleaning it up.
Do you know how old it is?
I have no idea. All I know is it's old.
It's old. Is it rusted or is it just kind of like...
It needs some parts replaced if I can finally figure out what it is. But as far as that, everything else you can tell where I guess the mud been corroded on it or whatnot, or dirt.
I got you.
Rust ate into the metal. I've been working on it, trying to get all that up so I can get it free action, move, and stuff like that.
Yep.
Before I totally disassemble it, and then try to put it back together.
You made sure it's safe, right? There's not, there's no shells or anything in it while you're trying to do that?
Nothing in it.
Turns out, yes, there was a shotgun, and it's very old. I think it's all rusted out, but I believe that was the murder weapon. They arrested him, and initially it was something minor. Obviously, they had him in custody, and then they were able to get the warrants drawn up to get the big M charges after that. The status hearing is going to be on January 12th. That's just housekeeping stuff. What else? What are we doing? Any other concerns of the witnesses and discovery? There was so much discovery that has been delaying this case like you would not believe. The defense accusing the prosecution of tampering with things or looking at things that are privileged, and so they had to have a huge taint team that's a third party to come out and figure out, go through just tons of material to decide what is attorney-client privilege or any other privilege, whatever. It's been a long drawn out process. And while I am all for maintaining the rights of any defendant, because if the best of us who could be accused of something falsely, in order for the rights to work for us, it has to work for the worst of the worst, right? Our system has to work fairly. So I want, the rights protected. I don't want evidence to come out that shouldn't and that kind of thing. But I do feel like her lawyer, Jose Baez, is just doing delay tactics and smear campaigns. He's done press conferences slamming the prosecution, saying how corrupt they are. And it's just lies. And to me, that's shady. I think he's been able to get away with a lot of it because he's Jose Baez and he's a power-hungry lawyer. But if you also look at him, he wears suits that are way too small for him because he's trying to show how big and tough and muscular he is. And to me, he just looks like he's wearing a suit he outgrew. And he looks like a little sad little boy, not like the rich, tough guy he likes to pretend he is. But I digress. Jury selection at this point, if we don't have any more delays, please, is going to be on August 10th. In theory, they're hoping to get 200 potential jurors that day, 100 in the morning, 100 in the afternoon, and then they'll start whittling them down from there. I haven't seen an actual attempted scheduled trial date, but the jury selection is slated to begin August 10th, barring any other delays. It was good also to hear that Kirsten, Jared's widow, is on board with taking the death penalty off the table. That does not surprise me because everything I've seen of her and every interview and every statement she's made, she has the well-being of the children at heart. She seems like a really genuine, kind, good person. So it does not surprise me at all that she wants to spare the kids more pain, even though, Shanna and her family have torn these kids away from her, and they don't get to have their half siblings in their lives. They have 2 half siblings. No, they're just gone, and who knows what they've been brainwashed with or told about Kirsten and those kids and whatever else. It's just, the whole story is so incredibly tragic. As always, I will leave links to all of the sources below, as well as a link to the charity that Kirsten set up in honor of their daughter. Her name is Bexley, and the charity is Bexley Boxes. It is having these boxes that small children can have supplies in, whether it's like little fruit snacks or stuffy bears and a blanket, or just comforting objects and toys for children who end up being at a police station alone and in a traumatized situation before a loved one can come and be with them, because that's what happened to their daughter. I just can't even imagine. I truly hope for justice for Jared. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with the whole Henry Tennant situation. I do suspect there's plenty to convict Mario and Shanna regardless, but I do think the trigger man should be held accountable too. Call me crazy. Let me know what you think. See you next time.